I'm Officer Jack Malone, badge 4279. 19 years on the force, and these streets are my proving ground. Etched into my bones through endless patrols, late-night calls, and a gut that's kept me sharp through every sketchy encounter. You don't last this long without a nose for trouble. Built from every loiterer I've rousted, every suspicious character I've questioned, and every instinct that's told me something's off. Downtown's a maze, bus stops, alleyways, corners where people linger a little too long, and at night, it's a breeding ground for problems. And let's be real, it's usually the same crowd hanging around. Black guys, standing around like they own the place. Always with that look, like they're up to no good. I don't make the patterns, I just keep the streets safe. And that's been my mission for nearly 2 decades. It's a Monday night, May 19th, 2020. Just after 10 peak this to the air cool. The city buzzing with the hum of late commuters and neon signs flickering above shuttered storefronts. I'm on patrol, cruising slow through downtown, headlights cutting through the dim glow of streetlights. When I spot him at a bus stop on 5th and Maple, a black man, late 30s, standing alone under the shelter, dressed in a dark jacket and jeans, a backpack slung over one shoulder. Scrolling on his phone, my gut pings immediately, something's off. Maybe he's waiting for a deal. Maybe he's casing the area for a break-in. Maybe he's got something in that bag, drugs. A weapon. Who knows? I pull over, cutting my lights to keep the element of surprise, and step out, adjusting my belt, the weight of my badge a steady anchor against the cool night air. I approach, flashlight in hand, boots echoing on the pavement. The night quiet except for the distant rumble of a bus engine and the faint buzz of the streetlight above him. I say, my voice sharp, cutting through the stillness like a blade, letting him know I'm in charge, that this isn't a negotiation. He looks up, startled, his hand pausing mid-scroll, then straightens, his eyes steady, meeting mine with a calm that catches me off guard. I'm just waiting for the bus. Officer, he says, his tone firm but measured. A faint accent I can't place, maybe West African, threading through his words. That sets me off. Nobody talks to a cop like that unless they're hiding something. Unless they think they can talk their way out of trouble. I said ID. Now. I bark, stepping closer, my flashlight aimed at his face, the beam harsh against his dark skin, making him squint. He sighs, a small sound of resignation, and reaches for his wallet with slow, deliberate movements, pulling out a license and handing it over. Kwamokoya, Black 38. Local address in a decent part of town. The kind of area with tree-lined streets and 2-car garages. I run it through my portable scanner, expecting a hit warrants, priors, something to back up my hunch. Nothing. Clean as a whistle. Not even a parking ticket. Doesn't mean he's clean. Though, my gut's still buzzing. Louder now. Telling me there's more to this guy than meets the eye. More than a man waiting for a late-night bus. What's in the bag? I demand, shining my light on the backpack resting on the bench beside him. It's black fabric scuffed, but intact. The kind of bag you'd see on a student or a professional. Just my work stuff, he says, unzipping it slowly. his hands steady, pulling out a laptop, a rolled-up set of blueprints, and a badge clipped to a lanyard. Apex Engineering. Engineer. I scoffed, not buying it for a second. Stand up, hands against the bench. I order, my hand resting on my holster. My flashlight still trained on him, my tone leaving no room for argument. He hesitates, just a beat, his eyes narrowing slightly. And that's my red flag. Nobody pauses unless they're thinking of running or hiding something. Now, I snap, stepping closer, my stance widening. He complies, slow and deliberate, his movements precise, like he's used to staying calm under pressure, like he's calculating every action. I pat him down, rough and thorough, checking every pocket, every seam, looking for drugs, weapons, anything to validate this stop. Nothing, just a pen, a notebook with equations scribbled in the margins, and a company ID tucked into his jacket pocket. Kwame Okoye, Senior Engineer, Apex Engineering, with a photo that matches his face perfectly. My gut twists, a cold knot forming in my chest, but I shove it down. Could be fake, a prop to throw me off. I tell myself, clinging to the narrative I've built over 19 years of stops like this, you expect me to believe you're an engineer. I say, pulling the ID out and tossing it onto the bench, the plastic clattering against the metal slats. You're loitering, looking suspicious as hell. Out here at this hour. He turns his head slightly, hands still pressed against the bench, his eyes meeting mine with a quiet intensity, his voice steady despite the cuffs I'm already pulling from my belt. I'm waiting for the tent-ass 15 bus. Officer, he says, his words clipped, precise. I design infrastructure for this city: bridges, roads, systems that keep it running. I just left a late meeting with my team. My gut flares. Nobody questions a cop unless they're playing a game. And this guy's too smooth, too composed, his calm a challenge to my authority. You're under arrest for loitering and obstruction, I say, slapping the cuffs on, the metal clicking loud in the quiet night. My decision final despite the unease creeping up my spine. The faint voice in the back of my mind whispering that I might be wrong. I'm in control. Or at least I tell myself I am. As I march him to my cruiser, cuffs tight around his wrists, my hand gripping his arm through the fabric of his jacket. The backpack slung over my shoulder as evidence. The street's quiet. The bus stop now empty, but a passerby, a woman in her 50s walking her dog, stops on the sidewalk. Her phone out, the lens glinting like a predator's eye as she records the scene. You're making a mistake, officer, Kwame says, his voice low. No trace of panic, just a quiet certainty that burrows under my skin. His accent more pronounced now, a faint lilt that I hadn't noticed before. That bugs me. Most people would be pleading, their voices cracking with fear, begging for mercy. But he's too calm, too composed, like he's already solving an equation in his head, calculating the structural integrity of this moment. Keep talking, and I'll add resisting. I snap, shoving him into the back of the cruiser, the door slamming with a heavy thud that echoes down 5th Street, the sound swallowed by the night. His voice cuts through the closed window. Calm but firm. You're wasting my time and putting a project at risk. That digs deeper. But I push it down. Doesn't matter. He's still a suspect. Still fits the profile I've built 19 years. I radio dispatch. Reporting a male suspect. D8. Detained for loitering and obstruction. Possible possession, pending a search of the bag. My tone clipped as I try to focus on the procedure, to anchor myself in the routine. My hands grip the wheels I pull away. But my gut's nagging. That company badge and those blueprints burning a hole in my mind. I push it down, could be fake. A student prank. A tactic I've seen before to dodge a ticket or an arrest. In the rearview mirror, he's sitting upright, staring ahead. No fear. No sweat. Just a resolve that sets my nerves on edge. That's not normal. I've hauled in plenty loiterers. Drunks. Guys with something to hide and they all crack, eventually. Their bravado melting under the weight of cuffs and a holding cell. Not this guy. He's poised. Like he's mentally drafting a bridge design. Waiting for the right moment to present his calculations. You got anything to say? I ask. My voice gruff. Trying to rattle him. To get some kind of reaction I can use to solidify my case. He meets my eyes in the mirror. His gaze unflinching. And says, I'll speak at the station. My firm will clear this up. Firm. My stomach drops as I realize I might have misjudged. But I double down. My training kicking in, stick to the arrest. Let the precinct sort it out. We pull into the precinct. And it's absolute chaos. Dispatch has already confirmed Kwame's identity. And Apex Engineering is on the line. Their legal team demanding answers. I march him inside. Cuffs glinting under the fluorescent lights. And sit him in holding. The metal chair creaking as he settles. His posture still composed despite the situation. The desk sergeant, Carter, looks like he's seen a ghost. His face pale as he mutters to me, Malone, that's Kwame Okoye, senior engineer at Apex. He designed the new 12th Street Bridge. This is on X, going viral. My blood runs cold, a chill creeping up my spine. My hands suddenly clammy around the clipboard I've been holding. I grab my phone, fingers trembling. And there it is, a video, crystal clear, posted by the woman with the dog who'd passed us on 5th Street, me cuffing him, barking orders, my voice dripping with contempt. His voice steady. I'm an engineer, waiting for the bus, and you're detaining me. The video's got 4 million views in under an hour. Hashtags Kwame and racist cop trending hard. My name a lightning rod. Badge 4279 plastered across the internet like a scarlet letter. The precinct's a war zone now. The air thick with tension. The sound of radios crackling with urgent updates. The hum of activity, punctuated by the voice of Apex's legal rep booming through the phone on Carter's desk. Reporters are already gathering outside, their lenses pressed against the windows. While inside, the phone lines light up with calls from city officials and engineering associations. Carter pulls up the video on his tablet, showing me the stats views climbing past 5 million, comments pouring in like a flood. Racist cop arrested engineer. Malone's finished. Free Kwame Okoye. My name's everywhere. A trending topic for all the wrong reasons. Badge 4279, a symbol of everything wrong with the system. A man in a suit storms in mid-40s. Glasses, carrying a briefcase identifying himself as Daniel Harper. Apex Engineering's attorney, "Where's Kwame Okoye?" he demands, flashing a business card, his voice a low growl. "You've detained a senior engineer working on a critical infrastructure project for this city, and this is a PR disaster." My stomach drops, a hollow pit opening up inside me. Kwame is out of cuffs now, standing with Harper, his presence filling the room like he's about to present a project proposal. "Officer Malone," he says, his voice low. "Steady. You should have verified my identity before escalating this. You've delayed a bridge retrofit that impacts thousands." His eyes aren't angry, just disappointed. And that cuts deeper than any insult, sharper than the cuffs I put on him. Harper's rattling off terms: unlawful arrests, civil liability. Project delays, his voice a legal barrage that makes my head spin. Carter pulls me aside, his voice a harsh whisper. "You arrested Kwame Okoye, Malone. He's a senior engineer, a city asset, and you turned a bus stop into a national scandal. That video's on every news site from here to the coast. The chief's on the phone with the mayor. And you're in deep." I'm sent to the sergeant's office, and it's a massacre. "You arrested Kwame Okoye for loitering." My sergeant roars, slamming his desk so hard the coffee mug jumps, spilling black liquid across the papers. The sound, a sharp crack in the tense silence. He's a senior engineer at Apex, the guy who designed the 12th Street Bridge, a project that saved lives during last year's floods. And you delayed a critical retrofit. That video's at 6 million views. The city's furious, and the mayor's getting calls from the governor. I try to explain loitering, suspicious behavior, my gut telling me he was trouble. But it's like shouting into a hurricane. Your gut's a career ender. Malone, he snaps, his face red with fury, veins bulging at his temples. You're suspended. Effective immediately. Badge. Gun. Now. I'm numb, my hands moving on autopilot as I hand over my badge. My service weapon. My identity as a cop. The precinct's a blur as I walk out. Cops avoiding my eyes. Whispers trailing me like a bad smell of Howard. Racist. Idiot, each word a lash against my pride. I'm home, collapsing onto my couch. A bottle of whiskey in hand. An absolute nightmare. The video's on every platform: CNN, MSNBC, local news, even national networks covering it with headlines like "Engineer Arrested in Racist Cop," "Stop, Sparks Outrage." Kwame's face is everywhere, photos with blueprints, shaking hands at award ceremonies, standing on the 12th Street Bridge with a hard hat and a proud smile. Mine's the villain's, captured mid-rant. A racist cop who cuffed an engineer for waiting at a bus stop. My face contorted with suspicion as he stood calm and composed. I dig into Kwame, desperate to find something, anything, to justify what I did. Kwame Okoye, B8, senior engineer at Apex Engineering, born in Nigeria, moved to the U.S. for college, graduated top of his class at MIT. Now a lead designer on infrastructure projects that keep this city running: bridges, tunnels, transit systems. He's a city hero, credited with saving lives through his designs, a speaker at engineering conferences, a mentor to young black engineers. He was waiting for the 10 15 bus after a late meeting with his team. working on a retrofit for an aging bridge that could fail without his expertise. He's not just an engineer. He's a cornerstone of this city. And I treated him like a common criminal. All because he was black. Waiting for a bus on a Monday night. My stomach churns. A wave of nausea hitting me hard. My hands trembling as I pour another drink. But I tell myself it was just a bad call. A mistake any cop could make under pressure. The lie feels flimsy, crumbling under the weight of the truth staring back at me from every screen. Every news ticker. Every social media post. The next week is a living hell. The videos everywhere, local news anchors dissecting my every move. National talk shows debating police profiling. Late-night comedians making me the punchline. Officer Malone thought he was busting a thug. But he got outsmarted by an engineer. The crowd's laughter sting. But it's nothing compared to the protests clogging the city streets and engineering offices. Signs with Kwame's face. My badge number scrawled in black marker. Chance of justice for Kwame Okoye. Echoing through the night. Engineering associations demand my firing. Civil rights organizations issue statements condemning racial profiling. And Apex releases a statement praising Kwame's dedication while hinting at legal action against the department. I'm on desk duty, pushing papers in a back office, a ghost in my own precinct. My buddies keep their distance, like I'm a walking plague. Their eyes sliding away when I pass. Their silence louder than any condemnation. The sergeant barely speaks to me. Just hands me more forms. His face a mask of disappointment. His silence a judgment all its own. I'm a pariah. My career bleeding out with every newscast. Every tweet. I check X obsessively. Each post a knife twisting deeper. Malone's a racist pig. Kwame Okoye deserves respect. Protect and serve. My ass. I want to scream that they're wrong. That I was just doing my job. Enforcing loitering laws. Following my instincts. But the footage doesn't lie. I look like a bully. Looming over him. Voice dripping with contempt. While he stands there, calm, unshaken. An engineer caught in my crosshairs. I think about the other stops I've made over the years. Countless faces. Countless names. All blending into a blur of suspicion. Black professionals. Hispanic workers. Anyone who didn't fit my idea of a law-abiding citizen. I told myself it was instinct. Cop sense. A tool to keep the streets safe. But now I see it for what it was. Bias. Dressed up as duty. Ingrained over 19 years. I never questioned it. Never thought twice. Until now. Until Kwame Okoye. Until the whole world saw me for what I am, a cop who let prejudice dictate his actions. I talked to my partner, Eddie, over beers at a dive bar, hoping for some kind of validation, some shred of understanding to cling to. He's old school like me, been on the force 20 years, and he shrugs it off, sipping his Bud Light, the foam clinging to his mustache. Guy was loitering. Malone, you did what you had to. These people always play the victim when it suits them. But his words feel hollow, like a script we've both recited too many times, worn thin by repetition. Eddie doesn't see the blueprints, the bridges, the lives Kwame holds in his hands. He's still stuck in the US versus them mindset. Same as I was. I want to argue, to tell him it's not that simple anymore, that I've crossed a line I can't uncross. That Kwame's calm under pressure haunts me, but I don't. He wouldn't get it. I'm not sure I do either. Not fully. At home, I'm alone. The whiskey bottle, my only companion. My badge on the table like a relic of a life I've lost. I think about my son, grown now, living across the country. His last call a strained take care months ago. What would he think? Seeing me in that video, knowing I'm the cop who targeted Kwame, I think about my dad, another cop, his voice echoing in my head. Keep the streets clean. Jack, no matter who's standing there. Clean. That's what I thought I was doing. But all I did was smear dirt on everything Kwame's night. My career. My name. I'm not sure who I am without the badge. But I'm starting to think I never really knew. The investigation's a formality. But it's a brutal one. Internal Affairs has everything. My body cam. The passerby's video. Kwame's statement. Calm and precise. Laying out my violations like an engineering report. Unlawful arrest. Discriminatory conduct. Excessive force. All of it documented with the weight of his expertise. My union rep tries to fight officer discretion. Public safety. The need to enforce loitering laws, but it's a losing battle. The department's under siege. The city council's facing pressure from Apex and civil rights groups, and I'm the sacrificial lamb. The termination notice comes down swift and final. No pension. No benefits. Just a letter telling me to clear out my locker and vanish. 19 years on the force. And it's over in a single memo. X is a graveyard of my career. My name forever tied to Kwame's story. A footnote in his rising legacy. He's on every channel. Back at work. Speaking at engineering summits. His design saving lives. His face on city billboards with the tagline building our future. I'm the villain. The racist cop who cuffed an engineer for waiting at a bus stop. A cautionary tale in his narrative. Protests continue across the city. Engineers and activists holding signs with Kwame's face. My badge number scrawled in black. A symbol of everything they're fighting against. The city pushes for police reform. The mayor promises oversight. And the world moves on without me. I pack up what's left of my life and move to a small town 2 hours away. Taking a job as a night security guard at a factory. It's quiet. Lonely. A far cry from the adrenaline of the cruiser. The pulse of downtown. I'm just Jack now. No badge. No power. Just a guy with regrets piling up like unpaid bills. I start reading books on race. On engineering history. On the cultural context I never bothered to learn. It's like swallowing glass. Each page a painful reminder of my ignorance. But I need to understand why I failed. How I became this person I don't even recognize anymore. I learn about the history of Black professionals in America. The way they've been targeted, profiled, stopped engineers like Kwame, who've had to fight for every degree, every project, only to be harassed by cops like me for standing at a bus stop. I read about systemic bias, about loitering law disparities, about the way policing has been weaponized against people of color for decades. It's a mirror, and I hate what I see, but I can't look away. I think about my training, the locker room talk, the way we joke about keeping them in line. I was part of it. A cog in a machine I never questioned. And now that machine spit me out, therapy's a new thing for me. A woman named Dr. Patel, who makes me unpack my dad's lessons, My anger, the fear I never named. You saw what you were taught to see, she says during one session, her voice calm but firm. What do you see now? I'm not sure, but I'm trying to figure it out. I start journaling, writing down every stop I can remember, every face, every name, trying to make sense of the damage I've done. It's a long list, longer than I expected, and it keeps me up at night. The guilt like a weight I can't shake. I write a letter to Kwame, pen and paper, my handwriting shaky from disuse. I apologize for the stop, for the cuffs, for the assumptions I made, for the man I was that night. I tell him I'm trying to change, to be better, to unlearn the things that led me to him. I don't send it. It's not for him, it's for me. A step toward accountability. A way to face the truth I've been running from. I keep the letter in a drawer. A reminder of the work I still have to do. I volunteer at a community center in my new town, teaching kids basic STEM concepts. The irony as thick as the dust on the old circuit kits we use. I'm no engineer, but I can show them how to build a simple bridge model, how to solve for stability. They don't know my past, and I don't tell them. It's not about redemption. It's about doing something right. About honoring the engineer I wronged in some small way. The kids are bright, eager, their questions filling the room. And for the first time in months, I feel a flicker of something like hope. I walk by bus stops sometimes, not to patrol, just to remember. I see men like Kwame, professionals in jackets, waiting for their ride. Lives unfolding with purpose. I don't feel that itch anymore. That need to stop them, to judge them, to assert my control. I see people now, not threats, not stereotypes. It's not enough, not by a long shot, but it's a start. I think about my dad's voice, fading now, replaced by something new, something I'm still learning to hear. Kwame is out there, still building, still leading. I saw him on the news, unveiling a new transit system, his designs improving lives, his voice steady as he spoke about innovation and equity. He doesn't talk about me, doesn't need to. I'm a footnote in his story, a lesson he didn't ask to teach. I owe him more than a letter, more than regret. I owe him a world where he can wait for a bus without a cop like me assuming the worst. I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it. One day, one truth, one step at a time.